don't know if we're gonna have a chat box. I don't know. I don't know. Like, we're recording, yes, but I don't know if we're gonna have a chat box. It's a live recording, and then, oh yeah, no, I can see how many people are watching on Otakus Anonymous, but I don't know.
My God, already? That's crazy.
Continuously uploading your high quality recording to Riverside. Gotcha. Very interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of this before.
This is, I mean, it's what all the podcasts that I use watch.
Also, can I just say, since
Yeah.
you're want for a cold open, and God knows you explaining why you're currently in China in front of what looks like an ad for a Chinese bathhouse.
Are you saying that Dorothy Lu Fei Dang, the love of my life, is an ad for a bathhouse? How dare you?
Look at this.
How dare you assume that my girlfriend? This is Dorothy's first ever professional photo shoot. As you can see, it's from Wishwing, where you follow your dreams. And so this is, because I've had no art, this has been my backdrop for my Chinese videos.
I can really see Dorothy in it. Like in the like low opacity one, I can't really see her in it, but the other one, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Dorothy.
Oh, it's all Dorothy, baby, all the time. Unfortunately, I'm like kind of like in a like a thinner frame here, so you can't see the whole thing, but you can see Dorothy doing her little.
Yeah, that's something.
Is that our cold open? Our cold open is Dorothy. Oh, I'm getting a stink eye right now. Dorothy's opening the door. Dorothy's opening the door, and she's just staring at me as I'm exposing her 5-year-old photo shoot.
I was gonna say something. Oh, we can see chat. I see chat. There's 74 chats.
There's 74 chats. Yeah, there's 214 people watching.
It's a bunch of people. 214. Oh, that's right. We're on real YouTube this time.
Yeah, we're on the real YouTube. We're streaming to a channel with 90,000 subscribers.
Yo, how's that for turned up?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
His mic is fine. Nick just yells every breath. I can get right up in here. Let me know Let me know if you want me to.
Yells every breath. Leave me alone.
I was gonna say, if we needed a cold open, I got a facial for the first time in my entire life.
Oh.
And you wouldn't
Danny,
be able
don't
to...
lie. I've given you plenty of facials.
Different kind of facial.
Oh, okay. Are you paid for this one?
Yeah, this one I keep on the whole time instead of
oh, good. There's no
rinsing
shame-related wiping.
Yeah. Schlumbo sounds better now, thank God. But I got a facial, and you wouldn't be able to tell because on camera I look like a disgusting swamp hag. But in a mirror, I'm like glowing. I look fantastic. I don't know what's happening right now.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but you sat down and I was like, he looks wet and his eyes look red, and I didn't want to say that you look like you were dealing with like liver related diseases, but yeah, you said it.
I look great in person. I don't know what's happening, but anyway.
Why a facial? What, like, I understand that you're going to like tree lightings and watching Wicked, or it's like, are you just like treating Sarah to the town?
Yeah, it's a pre-Wicked facial. No, it's because I'm vain and a YouTuber, idiot.
I guess. I mean, your skin is always glowing. I've never like looked at your skin and been like, wow, anything less than perfect.
No, my skin is always wet, Nick. There's a difference.
Well, that just means, okay, and what's the purpose of a facial? Is it not to get your face wet? Because that's what it accomplished.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that. I'm starting to think they just massaged water into my face the whole time. It was funny because she was like, I was like, well, so what can I change? What's going on? And she was like, well, so your skin's a little dehydrated, and that could be for a number of reasons. The weather, sometimes when you don't exfoliate, there could be residue buildup. And I'm like, no, it's because I don't drink water. Next.
Yeah, water doesn't get to face if water doesn't make it in mouth. It's easy as that.
Yeah. But it was nice. It was very cool. They just massage stuff in your face the whole time, and you leave wet. You leave looking wet, and then everyone says, I think you look good because you paid to do that. And I'm like, thanks, that is the right answer.
I've definitely paid to do a lot of things in my life and haven't come out net positive from them. You should know what Michaela did. Should have done the vampire facial where they just roll your own blood into your face.
Yeah, they tattoo. For anyone who doesn't know, there's this thing called a vampire facial. This is gonna be weird. I'm gonna be looking directly into the camera a lot.
Yeah, I don't like that you're staring into my soul as you explain what should be in like a YA novel. Like a vampire facial is not at all what I would have anticipated that it actually is in LA.
Vampire Facial is a hot new band coming to a college campus near you. And
absolutely.
It's what
a
happens
problematic group of bachelors.
Oh yeah, they gaslight. They love gaslighting.
Oh yeah, they want your bras on stage. The smaller, the better.
But they, what they do for a vampire facial is they drain some of your blood and then tattoo it back into your face, and that's supposed to increase blood flow. Because I guess it's like mixing your blood.
It's a gross idea. It's a disgusting idea. Before we get any further into the pod, today I'd like to talk to you guys about the fact that sometimes in life, it's okay for things to be a crapshoot. Sometimes in life, it's a good idea to fly by the seat of your pants. You can try a new kind of milk in your coffee, or you can buy a cheap pair of pants off Instagram. You can spice up your nighttime routine with a new takeout spot. But there's also some things in life that absolutely should not be crapshoots, and finding a doctor is one of those things. And with the sponsor of today's video, ZocDoc, it's not, because you have more options than you know. See, ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors. Choose the right one for your needs, click, and create an appointment with immediately. We're talking about in-network appointments with over 100,000 healthcare providers in every specialty, from mental health to dental health, skin care to eye care, and so much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, between 24 and 72 hours after filing. And some people are even able to get same-day appointments. After moving to LA, I didn't have a primary care physician, and therefore ZocDoc helped me find somebody to tell me that my bones were still good and my blood was still red. But without ZocDoc, the idea of finding a primary care physician was an absolute nightmare. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Otaku to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/Otaku or ZocDoc.com/Otaku. You had quite the weekend.
I did have quite the weekend. I watched Wicked.
Yep. It wasn't wicked good.
It was wicked good. It was fine.
Were Ariana Grande's sleeves like covering? Oh,
Jesus Christ!
Were Ariana's sleeves in her little princess costume covering her hands?
What are you talking about?
I don't know, dog. All I know about Ariana Grande is that she makes "Thank You Next" and she wears long sweatshirt sleeves, and that's it. That's the whole thing.
I didn't notice. I wasn't looking at her dainty, sickly little hands. Oh my God, I thought you froze. You're just incredibly still. Did you freeze?
I did freeze. Or you also froze.
Wait, I can't. You just remained incredibly still, but then when you came back, it was like that still image started moving, but there was no jittering. I think you were just
very interesting.
Okay, but anyway, I saw Wicked, and it's one of those things where it was way more well made than I thought it would be. All the actors were better than I thought they'd be. Everyone did a great job making it. I think I just don't really like the musical that much.
Oh, isn't this the one where like I'm defying gravity? Isn't that one?
Yeah, they're like, and if you look to the west, I'm wicked. I don't know. That's roughly how it goes.
Okay. They just throw the title of the movie in there like it's like some fucking cheap high school drama.
They say wicked quite a lot.
Of course they do.
It's also the first half of the stage musical, and it's 2 hours and 40 minutes long, which is longer than the stage play.
Jesus Christ! What is it? A Scorsese film? Why is it 3 hours long?
It's so long, and it's only part 1 of 2. She doesn't even... Spoiler, she doesn't become wicked until the end.
Isn't the entire idea about two witches just like longing for each other, like it's fucking like Oshinoko?
It's super not Oshinoko.
I was looking for Love is War, Kaguya-sama Love is War, same creator.
Yeah, it's basically My Hero Academia, honestly.
Yeah,
but,
she gets Black Whip. That's what makes her wicked.
Yeah, it's funny because while I was watching it, like I said, it wasn't bad. It was just it was the epitome of this is not for me. Like, it's well made. It's the best version of what this is. But I just wasn't gelling with like the songs and stuff. And I was like sitting there, and at one point I was like giggling to myself because I was thinking of like a Naruto musical, and I was like, it's just like, I was just in my head like, hey, Konoha, pick up your hats. Guess who's back? Naruto's back. It's like
this is a Shippuden musical.
Yeah, it's a Shippuden. It's like Naruto. Didn't you hear? Shikamaru's gonna be Hokage. Naruto. Didn't you hear? Kakashi Hatake's gonna be Hokage. Naruto. They hit the second tower.
Naruto, is that fucking Nagato again? Please, we just rebuilt.
I was just like laughing my ass off thinking that.
What an absolutely massive weekend for lesbians. Not only did they get Wicked, but they also got the ending of Arcane.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what a weekend.
What an absolute weekend for Subaru drivers. Like, I can't even imagine. Yeah, I've never seen a theatrical release of anything. I've never been to Broadway. I've seen one Broadway show. I saw Spider-Man on Broadway when I was in 8th grade and we went down to New York. That's the only theater show I've ever seen in my entire life.
What was it? What show?
Spider-Man on Broadway.
You saw Spider-Man turn off the dark?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was fucking sick. But anyway, did you see
one of the showings where the Spider-Man actor severely hurts himself? Because I heard that happen like every three times they put it on.
In Broadway?
Yeah, in Broadway. There's famously like the light, like the thing that holds the lights, like fell on Spider-Man. Because he's swinging around. Spider-Man on Broadway.
My spidey sense couldn't stop the light here.
Yeah, he's like, come on, Mary Jane.
Anybody else getting a tingling in their legs? No, no, because I'm not either. I can't feel them.
No.
Please.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Guys, it's gone. Guys.
all this for $50 a day. My God.
That's so funny. Someone in the chat goes, Danny, you're going to make a Naruto musical. And honestly, I think you and I should write a Naruto musical.
I could write a Naruto musical.
We should release it on TikTok. I think that would go so hard.
What, like a minute and a half at a time?
Just release the songs. Have you heard of Epic the Musical?
Yes, only because you're currently leveraging their fandom to get you to 1 million subscribers.
That's exactly what I'm doing, but it's the Odyssey, like the book The Odyssey, but told through songs. And it's just like 24 songs. Ratatouille also did this, or people did it for Ratatouille. There was Ratatouille the musical, and they just released like songs for the scenes, and we should do that with Naruto.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of like what would be iconic musical moments for Naruto.
We could do a duet between Rock Lee and Gaara.
That's pretty good. Oh, like Itachi slow burn as he's like swanking through like the Uchiha massacre. Dude, he's like spinning a cane and he's like, tonight I end the clan I came from. That would be sick.
I like the idea that in turning it into a musical, we inherently have to change a lot of characters' personalities. Like, yeah, we make Itachi way swankier.
Yeah, I mean, when Sasuke does his emo, like his pop punk emo cover of like how he's gonna kill Itachi, obviously he as a character wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But I can't think of a singular Naruto character that would break out into song. What'd you say?
I just mean, I think we could pull it off. People are saying Naruto and Zabuza would go hard.
Naruto and Zabuza? I mean, I guess. I feel like it would be like more like Naruto and Haku. Like, I feel like Zabuza having a musical bit seems kind of odd to me.
That's fair. That's totally
It just
fair.
it doesn't fit. I could make a musical song for like all of them. Gara could absolutely, like, Gara and Rock Lee would have like a kind of like tit for tat like rap one. Like Rock Lee would be like super high energy and Gara would be like kind of like low and down, like downtrodden.
Well, that's what's cool about the idea of doing a Naruto musical, is that most songs would have to be duets. Like, every fight would have to be a song.
Yeah. But like, so you would really only need, the most important ones would be like, you need to do like Gara, Rock Lee, and then you need to do like Neji Hinata, and then you need to do Neji Naruto. And then like, I don't know how you would pull off the Sasuke retrieval arc. Like that would be difficult, right?
Look, we'll get to that bridge when we get to it, but the Chunin exam musical would slap. If we just focused on that.
It arc by arc.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
It's a shame neither of us has any musical talent whatsoever.
I'm, if I may toot my own horn, pretty good at songwriting, and John makes music.
That is true. You did make a Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind entire music video. I forgot about that.
I did that. I'm working on a Beastars music video that's gonna be real edgy.
I mean, how could it's a Beastars music video. How could it not be edgy?
Yeah, so that's exciting. But
do one for Bungo Stray Dogs, you coward. Aren't you going to the con as the special guest?
I know, I should do one for Bungo. It's gotta come to me. Sometimes I've tried to force songs and it's tough. But I think you and I could really crush a Naruto musical. I kind of genuinely want to do this now.
Okay, I mean, we could do a writing weekend. I'll be down. I'm down for a writing weekend.
I'm super down. What should we talk about first?
Well, I was gonna say, because we were talking about Wicked and how it was a massive weekend for lesbians, we could start with Arcane. But we could also start with one of the worst ones, like I don't know, Daima or Blue Lock, which were both just snoozes like they are every single week. Let's start with Blue Lock.
Okay.
Let's just get out of the way.
What happened this episode? Explain.
Do you want to know what my news is? What my notes are from Blue Lock?
Mm-hmm.
It's Onigashima One Piece reference. That's the whole. That's all of the notes I have.
Dude, this show sucks.
The show sucks. It sucks, dude. It's so unforgivingly bad.
Every week nothing happens in both Blue Lock and Daima. And I feel like it's like a court-ordered sentence at this point, where I sit down in front of my TV and I'm like, oh, time for my hour of community service watching these two shows.
Yeah, time for 45 minutes of just shit I objectively don't want to do. I feel like we do this every anime season. We start with 5 anime at the beginning of the season. We're like, oh, it's a packed anime season. And then we get it's always 7 weeks in. And I'm like, oh, it's court appointed. Like, Daima, all right, we'll talk about Blue Lock, because I genuinely have so many words about it. It's just like, there's a moment, and it's being memed all across TikTok, where Itoshi Sai does like a little he stops the ball and lifts it, and then there is just a straight up panel cut. There's a straight up panel cut to him having the ball above everybody else's head. Like he hit the nastiest basketball crossover of all time, except we don't see it animated. It is an actual, it's a panel shift. It is the flipping of a manga page where the ball's on the ground and then it's in the air, and we have no way of knowing how it got there. And then in the next panel switch, he's just beyond the 2 defenders, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, hold on, my mic is telling me I'm peaking up a storm, and now I'm nervous. I've been peaking this whole time.
No, I don't think so.
Hopefully not. That's the idea. But
I mean, that's what a condenser is for.
Well, but it'll still come out like whack. But anyway,
I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's just getting tough every week to be like, man, I wish they animated this show. You know, because I remember last episode too, there were so many moments where if it's showing people running, it's CG, and then if somebody's kicking the ball, there's no suspense anymore, because if someone's gonna get a goal, it just cuts to a still image of the ball going into the goal. Like, you never see the ball travel towards the goal anymore.
There used to be this, there was this strategy in CSGO where, and this is how I know when there's going to be a goal. There's this strategy in CSGO where people would purposely eat the egg sandwich on camera, coward. Take a big bite. Take a big bite for the crowd. Big bite for the crowd there. Wow. That's Danny's second egg sandwich of the day. To match the amount of chai teas he's also had today. Chai tea is redundant. Chai means tea, but oh no.
Go on. We're podcasting.
No, I wanted to hear those. I want to hear the squelchy ass bites.
Anytime I
that's
take
what
a
I
bite,
want.
you for some reason decide that
there was a
it's my
strategy
turn
in
to talk.
CSGO where you would purposely run. What'd you say?
Anytime I take a bite, you for whatever reason decide that it's time for me to talk.
Absolutely, because I decide. Hey, listen, you're the one horking down an egg sandwich mid pod here. But anyways, back to CSGO. There was a strategy where you would purposely run CSGO on a bad computer because when you would get near people, your frame would drop. And so you'd be able to like know if somebody was around the corner, because if like somebody was around the corner and you couldn't, your frames would drop. And that is how you can tell if somebody's going to like score a goal in Blue Lock, because in Blue Lock, if the animation picks up for even 1 second, you're like, oh, Nagi's going to do something ridiculous and we're going to score a ridiculous goal here.
That's so interesting. I love that horrible like mid 2000s CSGO strat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like that. And like people did it in Apex. Like if you run it on a bad computer, like your frames will drop when somebody is nearby. So you basically have walls.
That I knew in Rainbow Six Siege, people bring their graphic settings to the lowest setting because like if you're laying down in like grass or something, or like in Warzone, if you're laying in grass, the blades of grass will be more like pixely and you could see through them. But if the graphic settings are high, it's like individual blades.
Yeah. So that's like literally how Blue Lock is works. But yeah, no, my thing is like, I don't want to watch Daima. I don't want to watch Blue Lock, but we're at this point now with both of these IP where I'm like, oh, if we stop watching them, what are we going to talk about on a week by week basis until Solo Leveling comes out?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
right? Like, are we going to do an hour and a half on Dandadan? And listen, we can start talking about TYBW. Like, I get caught up with Bleach. My God, get caught up with Bleach. Or we can talk about ReZero. I'm down for either of those things, but you don't watch either of those shows. So like, we're just at this point now where we're just stuck in the Blue Lock Daima fucking hell cycle.
Yeah. I mean, at least Dandadan's good. And that's it. That's really it. And listen, Dandadan is about to get real tough to talk about for the next couple of weeks. We're going to listen, like I've said, we're going to have to take a stance here. I texted you the other day and I was like, hey, Dandadan's we're going to hit a little bit of it. We're going to hit a little bit of a rough patch here. We're going to have to take a hard stance. And you said, oh God, please don't make me be racist. Nick, I can't do it. Don't make me be racist. And I was like, fortunately, not the stance we're going to have to take. Thanks for leaking my funny joke texts at everybody.
Oh, listen, it's you saying you don't want to be racist, Dan. If anything, this is social credit points.
Yeah, I was cracking myself up with the idea that, like, for whatever reason, I'm so chained to you that I'm like, please don't make me go out there and be racist. You know, if you make me do it, I'll have to.
I don't want to be a right-wing grifter. Please don't make me be a right. I'm like, listen, hey, we have a stream coming up with Asmongold. We're going to yell about women. He's real upset about the casting of the woman in How to Train Your Dragon's live action. We have a half-hour segment on it. I'm sorry. No, but let's do our other...
I'm looking at the chat because we can finally do that now that it's just right in my face. Someone was saying watch the new Pokemon anime, which we definitely won't do, but have you seen some of the fights in it? Everyone's saying I'm blurry also, which is definitely a you problem.
It's definitely, listen, guys, yeah, Danny's going to be blurry because I'm in China using a firewall to stream to 560 of you while also record. And so I'm using a VPN to get around to the Great Firewall while doing the most internet intensive thing you can physically do with a laptop.
Yeah, hopefully this isn't the most insufferable to watch pod we've ever done, but fingers crossed.
I mean, once it uploads, you won't be blurry. Like it's gonna live, it's gonna look blurry, but like Once we upload it, you'll be in 720p, just like I am.
But the new Pokemon anime, did you see that there's like Dandadan animators working on the fights?
No. Oh, wait, yeah, I know you sent it to me. Yeah.
Yeah, they look crazy.
It was you sent me the fuck, what was it? I forget who was fighting, but the fight looked absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's Ceruledge versus like the other one.
Just two. Oh yeah, the two like night Pokemons.
Violet. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. I've said like for a year now on this podcast that I'd love to like spontaneously get really into the Pokemon anime, but I don't think it's actually good. I think I'm gonna get reminded immediately that it is true just a children's show. Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the unfortunate part of it is like the manga's really good. Like the manga's like definitely less children coded, I feel like. But at the end of the day, the Pokemon anime is like, honestly, yesterday or a couple days ago, we were talking about how your tree lighting thing, you were like, oh, this is ridiculous. There's a toddler in front of me watching Dandadan on a iPad, and we're like, that's the last thing a toddler should be watching. Like, it's just, especially the next couple of episodes. And we're like, oh, what anime should a kid watch? And we're like, I feel like the answer is probably Spy Family, but also Pokemon. Like, just start kids on Pokemon.
It's definitely Pokemon. I do feel like My Hero's like a pretty solid one because it does start. It's like Naruto where it starts. Well, Naruto starts pretty hardcore, but My Hero like starts softer and then gets progressively darker, but it has better pacing that like modern children would be more into than Naruto does. And then One Piece, you got to start them really young. I don't think like a 10-year-old's going to be into One Piece because it's like people are barely moving and it's like slow as hell. You're telling me
that you need to get kids on One Piece before their brains get rotted by TikTok. You're like, hey, before your attention span is absolutely destroyed through short form media, we need to get you on One Piece.
Yeah, I think I get my kid on One Piece at age like 6. Like
I love that idea. I love
Melon phase.
I love that being built into parenting. It's like, oh yeah, no, like get their ears checked when they're first born, throw them in water so they know how to swim, nurse them on One Piece.
Yeah, but
honestly, it's probably not a bad idea. Just like throw. I mean, like there's some moments in One Piece that you probably. I mean, like there's like Nami showers in every single arc. Like every single arc, Nami takes a big bath, and that wouldn't be great. But at the same time, it's like, oh hey, tits are great, so fucking like eat.
That's another one where if they're young enough, they won't notice or care.
I wonder about that because like. You're probably right. Like growing up, I feel like because I watched Naruto really young. I started Naruto when I was like 7 or 8 years old. And looking back at it, like the moments I remember from Naruto aren't like the sexy jutsu. Like that's not at all. Like I remember like Gaara and Rock Lee's fight. Like I remember the fights. I remember like the intense moments. I remember like thinking Naruto and Sakura should kiss. I remember like I identified that there was romance going on, but it was never like I never like identified with like the ecchi parts of Naruto.
Yeah, I remember, like, thinking it was very silly. Like, I remember being like, oh, this is, like, quote-unquote sexy, but I didn't know what that meant. Like, I didn't actually feel... I wasn't, like, aroused by any of it. I was just like, oh, like, boobs, you're not supposed to see boobs, that's so funny. And you just know it is, like, a thing your parents, like, are weird about.
Yeah. You know? Like, like to turn, I guess back then we were watching on TVs, we were watching on iPads, but like it's that point where I used to watch, oh God, this is a horrifying memory. I used to watch Spartacus, the HBO TV show, which was just fucking, it was just Spartan smut. Like it was just tits and dick. And there was like the occasional fight. And there was just full penetration sex like every other episode, and I would just watch it like all the time around my mom, but like I would do this thing where I'd be like watching, I'd have the episode saved on my laptop, because this is back when I was like real into torrenting in high school. Like I downloaded everything illegally directly onto my laptop, didn't care if there was viruses. I was like, oh, Apple's got a firewall, and I was like, yeah, but you're downloading. For some reason, this episode is 65 gigabytes. Like, oh yeah, you're downloading fucking malware onto your laptop. But I had to do it to get my Spartan smut. So I would sit in the passenger seat of my car or my mom's car while she would drive around. And anytime that they're like, I would just like watch the like Spartacus. And anytime there was like full penetration sex, I would just turn the laptop towards me. I would just like lean into the corner of my seat and just watch it in the corner. So I guess like that's kind of what you would have to do nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because you briefly mentioned it, but if anyone's wondering why we started talking about this, I was at the, like, LA Christmas tree lighting, where you just, like, go, oh my god, it's actually fucking insane. You go into the Grove, which is like a little shopping center, and all the stores close at 4 p.m. But you have to get there really early, because last time we showed up like an hour beforehand, and they wouldn't let us in. So we showed up at like 3 p.m. thinking we could hang out in Barnes & Noble for a few hours when it starts at 7, and everything shuts down, and you're just stuck in this little outdoor shopping mall area for hours.
Very cute.
It's very cute, but there's nothing to do. For hours, and we snag a table because we were there so early, and in front of me, there's a child who, like, I don't even know can speak English, like, yet. Like, that's how young they are. And they're watching Dandadan on their iPad, and it's funny because behind them is me, embarrassed about watching Dandadan in public on his iPad while he waits for the Christmas tree lighting.
Everybody probably thought you guys were like family, or you were casting it to his iPad. You're like, no more Cocomelon, nerd.
Oh my god, I'd be arrested. I'd be arrested on site if I was just casting Dandadan to a child.
to every infant's iPad.
Yeah, but I was like in the middle of a conversation with Sarah, and I was like, yeah, no, like, I think it'll be fun. It's a little cold, but like, you know, we brought jackets. I wish we brought snacks. That kid should not be watching that. like it just snapped my attention.
It's just like you can like see Okarun being like, my dick and balls are gone. You're like, no, that's not for children.
No, it was wild. And then something really funny happened at the Christmas tree lighting where, so it's like a, you know, Macy's Day Parade vibe where they have like a big float and a bunch of like washed up celebrities come out and sing. Like, the girl who wrote Fight Song was there, and she sang Fight Song.
This is my fight. Okay, man, listen, I get it. She's made millions of dollars off that one song. But when you're doing, like, that's gotta be a moment of realization. You're like, oh, I'm doing the Christmas tree lighting at the Grove. Tough day.
There was a part where she, like, got to the second verse of when she's like a small boat on the ocean. And then she stops, and she's like, you know what? Why don't you guys sing this next part? I don't even remember the words. Go on, you guys sing. Ready? We're gonna restart. And she goes, like a small boat on the ocean. And then she, like, turned to the crowd, and it was dead silent. And then she cringed, and then just sang the rest of the song. And it was awful.
Why do that for the chorus? Don't do that. I hate when I go to see bands and they're like, you guys know the words, or like there's like a band that'll be big for like their one TikTok song, and they'll be on like their like they'll be on the third song of their second EP, and they'll be like, come on, you guys know the words. It's like, no, we don't, man. Play the fucking Y2K song that got 30 million views on TikTok, and like play your other music, but don't pretend that we know your other music.
Yeah, it's like Eminem comes out and he's like, come on, who knows all the words to Getting Funky with It? And it's like, fucking what?
You do. That's why you just brought it up.
Yeah, it's me.
And what's the one where he talks about a gerbil in his ass? That's one that you could sing along to.
That's Fack, and yes, I could.
No,
F-A-C-K.
Sometimes I forget that you're just an Eminem encyclopedia.
Yeah, Eminem is to me what Naruto is to you.
You're like it's like double wide trailers, racists, and Danny. That's the fucking Eminem fan base right there.
But then Jesse McCartney was there, and he sang a Dean Martin song, and he gave like a in memoriam to Dean Martin, and he was like, and then after he sang his song, he was like, yeah, you know, Dean Martin was a living legend of his time. He was an incredible man with a great soul. Beautiful soul. And then he started walking away, and then he came back around, and he was like, I don't want just anyone to hold. I want you and your beauty. And sang his own song. And it was a crazy segue from talking about a dead musical legend to singing his pop song from like 20 years ago.
Hasn't Dean Martin been dead for like 45 years?
Yeah, for like millennia. But he was like a...
Like Dean Martin's the deadest guy in the history of guys, right?
Yeah, but he was like a big Christmas song singer, so he did like one of those
he
deals,
died before. He died in 1995. He died before I was born. We can use his death to segue into pop music now.
It's so funny.
It was fucking 29 years ago.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, Blue Lock sucks. That's the end of the Blue Lock segment.
Listen, I'm so down to watch something else. We can pick up fucking. I'll watch the Owl House or something. I don't know. We'll do something. I'll watch the Owl House. We'll talk about an episode every single week. I'm so down to replace Blue Lock at this point. Because my God, who gives a shit?
You're just trying to get me to drop Daima.
Yeah, you better believe that this is getting parlayed into can we drop Daima? Because wow, listen, when I sit down, if we quit talking about Blue Lock, I would probably still watch Blue Lock just to see how the season ends. If we stop talking about Dragon Ball Daima, I'd never look at the show again.
Dude, every 2 weeks I get a text from Nick being like, so we're done talking about Daima, right?
So and I'm like, where we at, buddy? Where we at?
Yeah, I'm like, bitch, if I have to talk about Blue Lock, it's fucking Dragon Ball.
It's a Mexican standoff of shit anime.
Yeah, meanwhile, Stank's in the middle, like, when's Orb coming back?
You guys dropped on episode 6. They just got to the cool monk.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm so happy we're done with Orb.
Dude. Yeah, the one good show of the season.
How dare you? If I had to watch another person get the fucking three whole wooden necklace, I was gonna blow my orb off.
Dude, Daima, I can't believe how little happened. Like, this episode nearly pushed me over the edge where I'm like, no, we have to do something this episode.
Something.
Anything. Truly anything. All that happens is Pansy loses a collar I didn't know she had until this episode. And then Supreme Kai goes, everyone can do this. It's not that special.
Yep. Supreme Kai says 4 words. He's like, I'm a Glint. I should be able to take it off. She's like, oh my God, can you unenslave this entire world? And he's like, fucking do it yourself.
Do it yourself,
just write
coward.
the words down, you stupid bitch.
I wrote, Pansy goes, how did you raise a kid, Goku? And then Goku goes, I wasn't really involved. And then I just wrote, that was wild.
Yeah, that made me giggle, but it's also kind of wild to us, like, to know that Goku has enough self-awareness to realize that he has not been involved in the raising of his 2 children.
Yeah, I went, also, Super doesn't correct her about the fact that he actually has 2 kids, but I'm pretty sure it's because he forgot about Goten. Can't spell forgotten without Goten.
Yeah, like so Goten existed at this point. Goten was like, yeah, because Gotenks existed. It was like, there was a couple of moments like that like made me giggle, but like, as I was like watching this episode, I was like, I don't know how to explain this in any way other than in Dragon Ball Daima, shit just happens.
Boy, does shit happen.
Like, there's no reason for anything to be happening that happens. It's just every 3rd episode they get a new plane, and then they're like, oh, hey, like, all right, the best way I know how to explain it is that they have a ship. They introduce the fact that, like, Vegeta, Bulma, Piccolo are going to come in this, like, ship that, like, Bulma's going to fix. But then she's like, I can't fix it. It runs on a rock that doesn't exist on Earth. And we're like, okay, cool, I guess. That's unfortunate, obviously, but at the end of the day, like, I guess we can live with that. And so then Hybis, who is fastly becoming pretty much the only reason that I'm watching the show in the first place, is just like, oh, hey, like, I'm here now. Let me pick up everybody. And
I thought you'd come back and you didn't.
That's the whole thing. It's just like Hybis is just going to... Hello? You there?
Yeah. Hi. You froze for so long.
Gotcha. You also froze, so I don't know how much. I think it should have got everything that I was saying. Anyways, basically what I was saying was, like, Bulma's like, I can't fix this ship. And then, like, she's like, oh, I need a rock. I need a rock that doesn't exist on this Earth. It only exists in the demon realm. And we're like, okay, cool, I guess. Like, are you going to fix it? And it's like, no, Hibis is here. And it's like, okay, why were you working on the ship?
Yeah, I wrote Hibis is my hero. What a weirdo.
Hibis
what a
is
weird
great.
fucking guy. It's great.
Hibis being like, I have a date tonight. And then the king being like, you don't have a girlfriend. It's like, hey, just let him dream, dickhead.
Hibis being like, I want a large pizza with worms on it. And he's like, you can have as many large pizzas with worms on it as you want. And he goes, no, I just want one. And he's like, all right, just fucking go.
Yeah, he's like, just get the job done. God damn it. Yeah, Hibis is fastly becoming the only reason I'm watching this show. I kind of love him.
All Goku does in this show is shit and eat.
I like, and fight the cops.
Yeah, every episode. I know every episode has like a Power Rangers ass fight where it's like, oh, a bunch of goons show up. We'll just take them down, I guess. And then there's also a moment every episode where Goku goes, I gotta take a dump, and then he takes a dump.
And everyone's like, oh, they did the poop. They hit the poop button. Listen, I love the idea of Oda. I love the idea of Oda on his deathbed being like, he's gotta shit. He's gotta. We gotta get as much poop out this boy as possible.
They're gonna want him to poop. They're gonna want him to poop every episode.
I know that they're saying they want Vegeta. They don't know what they want. They want the child pooping. That's what they do. They poop.
No, if the only reason we're doing it again next week, other than the fact that we truly have no other anime to talk about, someone recommended we watch the How to Train Your Dragon movies, like we did the what's his fucking name? Hayao Miyazaki movies.
Hayao Miyazaki?
That's not a bad idea. I do think it'll just be every week of me being like, I don't get this franchise. It's not that good.
How many is there? Is there more than 2?
There's 3.
How many dragons do they need to train?
They train all of them. That's kind of the point.
I don't. You train one. I feel like you got them all. I don't.
Yeah.
It's. Oh, cool. Am I gonna? Oh, here's the clicker, and then
also,
we have to like use positive reinforcement and treats on how to train a dragon. How do you do it? I don't know. I haven't seen the movies.
He ages, which is cool. So he's like an adult with a beard by the 3rd one, which is genuinely very cool. But the only reason we're doing another one, other than the fact that we don't have anything else to talk about, is the fact that the next episode is promising like a real fight episode. He's gonna fight the guardian of their Dragon Balls, which is just a big bug with a hammer. I can't wait for Goku to not break a sweat and be like, oh, this thing's like weaker than Super Saiyan 2.
Yep. Yeah, I can't imagine that the guardian of the first guardian of one of the Demon World Dragon Balls is going to be able to like press Goku to like, we're not talking about like, oh, there's 3 guardians of these Dragon Balls and they're going to be on the equivalent level of like the Vegeta saga and the Cell saga and the Buu saga. Like they're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, and Goku in his child form is going to need the help of Vegeta and Piccolo to take it. Like probably that's what's going to happen. I just like their designs are so super like they're so unserious, like they're so Power Ranger coded that I can't necessarily be like, oh, I'm stoked for this. Like I'm so excited to like it just kind of looks like a giant Power Ranger with a hammer. Like he looks like Ultraman, you know? Like I don't know. I just the designs are too unserious for me.
Yeah, it's really even OG Dragon Ball. Like I would take like OG Dragon Ball has such a ferocity to it and like a desperation to it where like when fucking Tambourine or Drum, one of those, like, just has his fucking arm through Krillin. I know you don't remember that. When Goku's just like, putting his head through King Piccolo, like, it's like, there's just
fires himself. He literally fires himself like a cannonball through King Piccolo.
Yeah, it's just so, like, I don't know. People are like, oh, Dragon Ball Daima's trying to be nostalgic. It's like not even as good as OG Dragon Ball is the problem. Like, cool shit happened in OG Dragon Ball.
Yeah. It's definitely very interesting. My only notes from this episode were the soundtrack of the show sounds straight out of a Wii Resorts game.
That's
like the soundtrack is just like it's like between the opening being like da 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 da, and then just like the actual background literally sounds like bum bum. But like the entire background is just Wii-based game music.
Yeah, someone in chat goes, Drake is officially finished, and that's hilarious to me. Like the rapper.
The billionaire rapper who like you're not going to listen to his music. Wow, will that not affect him? Finished. Done.
Yeah, that's so funny. But anyway, yeah. So Daima's bad as always. You want to do Dandadan or
Stuff just
Arcane?
happens. Yeah, let's talk about Arcane, because the reason that we're not recording, we were going to record yesterday. People probably wouldn't have been too happy about that because you wanted to record at 10 p.m. West Coast time, also known as 1 a.m. East Coast time. Usually when we start at 8 and people still get mad at us. But Arcane, so we watched the last 3 episodes, talking about Arcane's episodes 7 through 9. And did they nail it, Dan? Did they nail it?
I think they kind of nailed it. How do you feel?
I feel as though they kind of nailed it. We were concerned. Me and Danny in our last episode were concerned about, Arcane is coming to a close here. And we weren't like, the season's been bad or anything. But after episode 6, we're like, I don't know if they have enough time to answer a lot of the lingering questions that we have. And I'm going to be real, I still have lingering questions. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that like 100% of my questions have been answered, but the way that they split up the 3 episodes, I thought was pretty much the best way they could have done it. They spent 1 episode on Echo, they spent 1 episode on Vi and Jace, and then they spent 1 episode like bringing the story to a head with like Mbessa. So it was like the 3 episodes kind of focused on the 3 pain points that we had after the conclusion of episode 6, where we're like, these are the 3 people we need to know more about. We need to know what's going on with these people. And so I think they kind of did nail it, but I do have lingering questions that we'll get into in a second. But before we get into any of this, can you believe I had to download a VPN that I had to download a mega ultra VPN that's allowing me to do this stream right now. For those of you who don't know, I'm in China, and there's a firewall wrapped around this entire country that doesn't allow for you to use basically any IP that's not Chinese. And would you believe that Arcane, the show based off a game made by Riot Games, a company owned by Tencent that is a majority stockholder in the Chinese government, impossible to find here. Impossible. You cannot find it. And I was like, if there's one show I should be able to watch in China, it's Arcane. This show this is basically like Sun Wukong level of like, if any show should be in line with the CCP's idea of what television and movie should be, it should be Arcane, but apparently not.
It's too gay. What are you talking? They hate gay media.
It's gay as hell, and that is also fair, and probably why I couldn't find it.
I can't believe there's a scene, so spoilers for Arc 3 of Season 2 of Arcane. There's a scene where Jinx is in a jail cell, and her hair has grown like 10 years worth of hair, even though her nails are still painted blue. And
no, that's just how long her hair has always been.
There's no way it's always been that long. Are you kidding me? It's so long.
She has braids that go down to her ankles. Danny, you know
hair
braids make your hair
longer.
shorter, right? Danny, braids make your hair shorter. Think about it. Think about a braid, Dan. Think about a braid for 1 second. You have to tie it into like it's a twist. All right, what's longer, a straight piece of hair or a twisted piece of hair?
You're making a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. It's just she took her braids out. How long do you think she was in that cell? How long do you think Vi was unconscious?
I have to edit a video. I have to go edit a video. I have to go edit a reaction. No. Her nails are still blue. Like you wanted her to have like fucking like witches, like fucking 4-inch nails. Left 4 Dead, like witch aesthetic.
Yeah.
Woof. Anyway, so she's in the cell, and Vi comes and is chatting with her, and then Jinx pulls a little switcheroo and locks Vi in the cell. And then Jinx is essentially like, I'm gonna go kill myself. And then Vi's like, rats. And then Caitlyn comes and lets her out. And instead of being like, hey, Jinx is gonna go kill herself, time is of the essence, I gotta go stop that. Instead, she spends the next, what I assume to be 15 to 20 minutes, just munching box.
Dude, I wrote my exact note was, I get it. We all want hot lesbian action between Vi and Caitlyn, right? But is right now, after the potential loss of your sister, the correct time? Like, first off, as somebody who's dabbled in a couple of let's say 3 people experiences, when the 2 ladies get to going at it, it is a much longer entanglement than a man and a woman, because there doesn't have to be an end, Dan. There doesn't have to be an end. It can go for really as long as they want. And so 15 to 20 minutes, that's honestly, that's probably a shorter estimation if we're being real.
Yeah, that's that's just a quickie right there.
That it was crazy. And like, it was to the point where I was like, one, they were just getting like real booty naked in this dirty, dark, like cell that's used to like have people rot to death. And I was like, guys, we both have apartments. Like, let's just, like, if we're feeling it, let's move somewhere else here.
Well,
but wow, that was a lot.
It's funny because, they're like taking off their clothes, they're making out, it's a hot kiss, like it's passionate. And even when they were taking off their clothes, I was like, all right, whatever. They're going to like fool around a little and then be like, wait, Jinx, we got to go do blah, blah. And then Vi just like goes down on Caitlyn. And I'm like, what is it? I was waiting for them to get into like 11 Karma Sutra positions before Caitlyn was just like, hey, by the way, where'd Jinx go? And Vi's like, I was like,
what'd you do with those keys I gave you? And it's like, Jinx.
I made a terrible.
Jinx has a grenade.
Vi's just like, I made a terrible mistake.
It's like literally, it's like, this is ironically the exact character path that Denji has gone on, where Denji is like dealing with a lot, like with loved ones, like in potentially dangerous situations, and he's like, oh, I gotta get laid so bad, I have to get laid right now,
dude. Well, I felt a similar vibe. Like, in fairness, Jinx pulls the same type of deal later when they're having like their mini war arc and Mbessa is like sieging Piltover, because all throughout this season there's been a character who I've been calling Thick Jinx, who I can't believe is in so much of the show. She dresses as Jinx. She's like one of the like Jinxers, and she's black. And she just looks like
the girl with like the dreads comb over kind of thing. Yeah.
I've been calling her Thick Jinx, and I did that at first when she first showed up, because I was like, like making jokes. And then she's in the show enough to die on screen. And if Jinx didn't spend, assumedly, hours spray painting an entire fucking blimp and all of Echo's boys' outfits, Thick Jinx wouldn't have had to die.
That's so funny. I didn't even think about that. Like, she pulls up in the most whimsical, like aeronautical,
she shows up in a new outfit. She makes herself a new outfit.
She cuts her hair. She cuts her fucking hair.
She shows up like 9 hours later than she had to.
It's like the second wave has already come. Like, everyone's already like run over the bridge and Piltover, and Jinx is like, oh yeah, I guess now we can pull up with our like life-saving technology.
Yeah.
The shield guy was on the giant, I can only call it like shipping container turret, and that dude, another like very similar situation to Thick Jinx, where they're like, oh, look at this like uniquely created kind of Vander-esque person, and I was like, oh, this guy kind of looks like Vander. I was like, maybe there's going to be like a connection there to, like, you know, like, because like Vander is Vi and Jinx is like dad, so like maybe they're going to be like close because of that. Nope, just a crossbow bolt to the neck and gone.
Just dead because Jinx wasn't done with her arts and crafts project.
Yeah, because Jinx was trying to get the perfect length on her Vi bang that she for some reason needed.
I know. What'd you think of episode 7 when Echo makes the terrible decision of leaving better Piltover?
Do you want to know my exact note? I said, it's a better universe and we can't get back. I'm giving up immediately. The way they're like, oh, Heimendinger, the smartest guy in the history of guys, was like, Hex Gates haven't been made here. You're like, oh, cool. So I just have to marry Powder and like invent with my still alive friends. Cool. Oh no.
I know. I love how Heimerdinger shows up to this world, like the greatest mind in his universe shows up to this better world and is just like tuning his guitar, like, yeah, can't really do much about leaving here. Sorry, bud. Like,
yeah. He's like, yep, hexkits haven't been made. I'm a bard now. And you're like, all right, man, sure, I guess.
Dude, the reveal that Heimerdinger was singing that song was the biggest twist in the entire series.
I texted you guys because I was there. There's like this wide panning, sweeping shot of this just gorgeous world. Like Zahn is exonerated. Like it's like nice down there. They're trying to Echo's trying to work on this like lossless fuel cell, like energy cell, like battery wall kind of thing. Like, oh, we're trying to use the gases from Zahn's like exhaust to create energy systems, and everyone's alive. The guy I forgot about Mustachio Man and the thicker dude that used to be on Powder's crew.
Oh, Milo and whatever, yeah.
Did they die?
Yeah, they
in
died.
The real world?
Yeah, Jinx killed him.
Jinx kills during the explosion, right?
Yeah.
Like the explosion that kills Vander.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like they're alive. Like Echo, it's just such a better life. Like Powder isn't insane yet, and then they're just like, oh, we're just gonna leave this world. But them like doing that wide panning shot. I texted you guys. It was like 3:00 in the morning there because I was watching it in China. And I was like, is Heimerdinger singing this song? And then it slowly like appears to be him. Like, oh my god, it is. It was like watching. You ever seen not Family Guy, American Dad?
Yeah.
It was like a Steve
like
level
Roger.
performance. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
I would not expect this beautiful song from that voice.
Dude, I was watching it like in my room, and Sarah's like in the next room, like blow drying her hair, and she comes in and she's like, Are you listening to Bob Dylan? And I was like, you are not going to believe who I'm listening to.
I'm listening to better Bob Dylan, all
Yeah.
right? Timothy Chalamet couldn't do this if he tried.
Oh my god, I would love for someone to edit Heimerdinger into that Bob Dylan movie trailer.
That'd be great. That'd be just replaced.
Yeah.
Listen, it's like Chopper and live action One Piece. Just throw him in
Yeah.
there. Throw him in there. Let everybody else be real.
But no, episode 7 was crazy good. I really love them cutting between like Echo having like a beautiful coming of age story and Jace just in hell eating bug monsters. Like his hammer breaks his leg. Like,
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Listen, terrible. One, I really wanted like an Always Sunny title role. Like Jace has the worst day ever or something. Like I was like, dude, I was watching this dichotomy between exactly that. Like Echo being like getting his like our first straight kiss, which happened in another universe. I thought that was funny. I was like, a straight kiss, we're so back. And then I was like, oh, it's another universe. I was
it's
like,
the straight universe. Yeah.
Yeah, the straight universe here. And so I was like, my notes are very funny from this one. I was like, Jace has the worst day ever. And then I go, oh no, monsters. Better pick up my 300-pound non-powered hammer. Like, there's a moment where Jace is like seeing all of these, like, basically, what are the things that if you look at them, they don't move from Doctor Who?
Oh, yeah, the Weeping Angels.
Weeping Angels. Yeah, there's like basically all these weeping angels, and he's like running away, and he's like, oh no, I better pick up my mega hammer here that's not currently powered by Hextech. And then very appropriately, it just falls on his leg and shatters it.
Yeah, in my reaction, I guess spoiler, whenever that comes out, I was like, when he's fighting one of Victor's like automaton things, and he's like, this is where it ends, Victor, and he like lifts it up and like swings, and Victor's thing just like dodges it. I was like, maybe it's time somebody makes Jace a knife, because a toddler could have dodged that. Like,
because it's by the end of like his whole thing, he breaks down the hammer and turns it into like a leg splint, basically. And he's like walking around with a staff, and I was like, that's an appropriately sized weapon for you now, sir. Like, I think that's good. I also will say, obviously, Jace has a terrible time, right? But at the same time, what a great place to fall.
why? What do you mean?
Jace, next to a fresh body of water, scampering with fucking fox-sized bugs that he can eat and or turn into fire.
True, its own little biome and ecosystem. Like,
Yeah, like say what you will, but Jace was provided for in that hole.
fucking, I love, dude, Jace's glow up both like narratively and visibly, is one to be studied, because he was such a lame, boring dork in season 1, and then now he's like carrying the plot on his shoulders. He shows up to fucking council bearded and dressed like he's cosplaying as a steam engine. Like, what a fuck, he looks like a fortress.
The shoulder, like, he looked like a Titan in,
in Destiny. Yeah, he looked like Zavala from Destiny. He looked crazy. Yeah. And I love how he throws the thing on the table and he's like, these things are coming to kill us. Who will stand with me? And people are like, yeah, this blows. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, people are just filing out 2 by 2. And what the craziest part about all of it is like, everyone's leaving, right? Everyone's like, oh, this isn't going to work. And then it just shows everyone buying in like 30 seconds later. He's like, I need you to keep like the enforcers like around for as long as possible. What happened to everybody? What happened to everybody who left? Did they die?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
I have no idea. There was a lot of did they die energy going on in this show for me.
Yeah.
This kind of a tangent, but speaking of a did they die bit, there's like 2 frames where you see Heimerdinger's eyes explode out of his head, and I've never had like a worse, more visceral response in my entire life.
It came out of nowhere. I was like, he was like, oh, 4 seconds is the limit. And I was like, is Heimerdinger still alive? Like, what are we doing?
Dude, you ever watch like a scary YouTube video way too young and you have this feeling where you're like, that's enough YouTube for the rest of my life. I'm not supposed to be on this app. That's how I felt.
My life in an irreversible trajectory. I'm good.
It was like the first time I watched Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, or the first time I saw a video of a man actually die. Like, I was like...
What is Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
I know this is an audio medium, but I hope my silence speaks volumes to our audio-only listeners. I think they'll appreciate that.
What is Don't Hug Me, I'm... What is this?
Wow. Wow. Don't look anything up, just watch it when we're done.
Oh God.
Stop it!
Oh God. I just saw a Muppet melting.
Yeah, stop it. You
Why
gotta
would I
watch
that, Danny?
Because it's spooky.
I think I'm still too young to watch that.
It's one of those things where it's like when you're a kid and you see something like really scary and it just sends a shiver down you and you're like, I'm gonna go to bed now.
You know what I would always do if I ever watched something too scary? I would just like put on an episode of like a comedy show afterwards and be like, I need to cleanse the palate. I need to watch an episode of The Office.
It was one of those moments where I wanted to like go into my parents' bedroom and be like, hey, Dad, do you want me to sleep in here? Like, I don't have to sleep with you, but like, like, do you need me? Are you scared about something?
If you're scared, I can protect you. It's okay.
That's so funny. I loved the Echo episode. Like, the whole season, I was like, man, Echo's not in this. I was just, like, impressed. Because I was genuinely like, man, this season's rushed. This is gonna be a disaster. Yeah. And then, like, the Echo episode, I was like, this is a good amount of Echo for me. Like, I'm satiated. And then...
Yeah, oh, no. Look, I think every episode did a really good job of not only delivering enough of the character, but also wrapping up their story. The only character I would complain about in any capacity is Mel, just because her story, like, I don't know, it felt too fast. Like the Black Roses thing wasn't super explained. I'm still not entirely sure who the witch was, like who the witch that, like, I don't know if Mel won. I don't know what they wanted to do with Mbessa. I don't know why Mbessa was involved with them. So I would say, like, the only storyline that I, like, found lacking out of any of this was Mel's storyline. You don't even really figure out, like, why Kino dies. And it's like, it's kind of revealed that like Mbessa is actively trying to work with like the runes and Victor so that she can garner enough power to be able to like finally take out like the witches, basically. Like, that's all she's like trying to do here. And like, she has like this like runic power that she like ties around her wrist kind of thing that like allows her like it's like a protection spell of sorts. But I don't like, yeah. So Mel's story is probably the only one where I'd be like, oh, I don't feel satiated with that. But I will say, episode 7 is probably the most impressively animated thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I have,
7.
You called me out on this. What were you saying?
I said, wow, 7. I was shocked that you didn't say, like, episode 9. Episode 9
No,
kind of
so
blew me away.
episode 7, when they were doing like because they're doing like the ripcord, like the restart like thing, and it's all revolved around this like kind of like living runic hexgate ball thing. And those scenes were crazy, and they just like kept doing, and they're like as they were switching to Jace, and they were showing like this dystopian landscape where like it was like Piltover, or no, it was like Runeterra, or like Piltover that's been like destroyed through the power of Victor, and like this like sweeping like broad scope, and it's like in the same way that we said that like episode 7 was somebody's masterpiece, right, for Dandadan. I feel like episode 7 for this was somebody's like directorial and artistic masterpiece. Like, and so like I feel like it got to the point where the episode 7 where I was like, oh, they have extra budget. I actually thought like they were like, oh, we actually didn't spend that much money. Like the music videos padded a ton of our spending over the last 6 episodes here, so we can just put it like half of our budget into episode 7. But every single one of these episodes was wildly beautiful. And I know we talked about this last week where I was like, oh, the slideshow scenes are a bit weird, but when Echo and Powder were doing their dance, and it was like they were like doing it choppily, I thought that was a really cool artistic moment, because like it would have been fine if they were dancing, but like it's kind of awkward to watch other people dance because it was happening like a couple of frames at a time. Ironically, it felt more sincere, like we were watching like photos of a night that they wanted to remember. Well, like we were watching it through. Yo, you got it?
Well, I was just gonna say, yeah, I felt that it was like a fleeting memory, which made it more like bittersweet, because it's like, oh, this is a beautiful moment that they're sharing, but like, it's like Echo will only remember these few frames of it, you know? Like, it makes it feel like it's fleeting more than it's something that...
Because, like, that's how you're, like, you don't remember everything that happens. You remember key points, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Look at me. I went to film school.
I
paid for this.
Yeah, that's you.
I paid for this.
With your big brain.
Move my big old brain. I would say out of all the episodes, though, I would say 8 was probably the least impressive. 7 was really good. 8, like all of the episodes were good. I mean, obviously 9 is like the Paramount War. Your videos about Jace and Victor being gay have been hitting my FYP recently. But wow, oh my goodness, is this? These episodes are the biggest case for Jason and Victor just needing to kiss so bad. There's the moment when both of them are like they're ethereal beings, like they're both like these like spiritual beings, and Jace grabs Victor by the back of the neck, and I was like, this is it, baby, we're getting the kiss. And then they just did the little like they're like sharing their contact information through a forehead touch.
Dude, I really thought Victor was gonna kiss his little forehead. Like they're like 69ing faces. Yeah, dude, the Victor and Jace shit really carried this show for me. Like, I was way less interested in Vi and Jinx this season than I was in Victor and Jace. How do you feel about,
Interesting.
Oh, you feel differently?
I don't know if I necessarily agree. I like Victor and Jinx. I would say that they probably play second fiddle. But I find Victor and Jace, I find Vi and Jinx to be the most compelling part of the show, mostly because I think it was done really well that in the beginning, obviously, there's the establishment that they're sisters, they grew up together, Jinx is accidentally responsible for the death of their father, and then both of them are kind of the worst for a while. Like, neither Vi nor Jinx can hold 100% of the blame for them not being close for the majority of this show. But my genuine favorite part of this entire show was the fact that in this season, Vi and Jinx slowly but surely rectify their relationship and come back together. And a lot of that has to do with like Vander coming back through the medium of whatever his face is, the werewolf. And then also like the way that their story ends. So I think Victor and Jace were more responsible for the movement of the plot, but I found Vi and Jinx's relationship more compelling.
Yeah, it just felt like repetitive by this season, where it was like, like there's only so many paint-themed terrorist attacks Jinx can do before I'm like, we got to be a stricter fascist government here. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, this is getting ridiculous. Like,
we need to start just like, we need to start cementing over Zon. Like, I get it. The roads are blocked. Let's just start covering the whole thing.
There's a new act of terror every 40 minutes in this goddamn town. Like, just set up guards at every paint store in Piltover. You'll catch her. She's got to be getting this shit somewhere.
If somebody buys blue hair gel or like hair dye, just execution. Right
just
there,
execute them.
Just get it out of the way. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, you just can't have one hair color. You'll live with that. You'll live with that if it means not having our governmental bodies nuked.
Dude, every box of blue hair dye, make it a bomb. Make it a bomb that explodes when you open it.
It's like, what is the fucking guy who makes glitter bombs? So when people steal his packages, just do that, but like with C4.
I love
the idea of like, a family being like, oh, who's excited to go see Moana 2 or something, or like, let's go do like ocean hair, and it's like family eradicated by blue dye.
They're just like shadow stains.
Oh my god.
One of my favorite bits in the show, genuinely, was when Echo gets his like 4-second time rewind thing, and he goes to Jinx, and she's like, "You're too late, kid," and he's like, "Wait!" and then he like rewinds, and then he's like, "I came to talk," and she's like, "Too late," and he's like, "What?" and then he rewinds, and like he gets like she's relentless with wanting to blow herself up, that like after like 6 times he's like, "Hold on, I'm just gonna catch my breath." And then he sits down and he's like, just trying to have a chat here. And she's like, "You're too late." And he's like, "Fuck!" It's like
she gives up on the grenade and is like, "I'm just gonna jump. I got multiple ways to do this."
Yeah, it's like he's playing super hot on the hardest difficulty. Like,
yeah. It's also crazy that like, 1, his reaction time was able to stop a grenade exploding, and 2, like, what is it hurting him? Like, I can't tell if rewinding hurts him or something. Like, something seems to like falling off him when he's when he's rewinding it, and I don't know what it is. Like, it could have been like his I think it was like his paint, maybe.
I thought, I don't know. I don't remember. I thought it was like he got cut just before, and so it's like the blood dripping every time.
Gotcha.
But I could be wrong. But I
also have a question about.
Yeah, go on.
I have a question about Echo's better Piltover world. So Echo's better Piltover world, like at the end when he leaves, right? It's revealed that Powder had all of like the root, like all of the hex tech, like marbles. What does that mean? Does that mean that she's gonna make hex tech?
I think it's gonna be that we're gonna get like a spin-off of that world, probably.
So?
They've confirmed that they're doing like 3 spin-offs, which is great. Yeah. And like what I expected. My only concern is that they're all gonna look like Castlevania, because that's a way cheaper art style, and why every Netflix show looks like Castlevania.
So apparently, what I heard is that they were gonna take they had money allocated for like 3 seasons, but apparently they're gonna take the budget of those 3 seasons and like either spend it on 1 season each, or like, I don't know. From what I heard, money is going to be spent. Like, I think I don't know. I think it is a solid possibility, unfortunately, that like corporate greed gets to Netflix and they're like, everyone's going to like, Arcane's so popular. What if we made it less like expensively? And then they could be like, oh, it's a different universe, so they can use a different art style. Unfortunately, like that's a way that they could play it off. But I have faith. I have faith that it's going to keep looking good.
I want to have faith. I feel like there's a very real possibility that the next show looks like Blue Lock. You know, like they'll be like, "Oh, this is too big to fail. It's like our highest watched show."
But my thing is, League of Legends fans are so mad. They're so mad already.
Yeah, they're so mad by default. You're right.
Yeah, and so like I don't know, but then again, like I don't know. It's League of Legends. Would you identify it as like a broken game at any point? Like, you know how people are upset that like Apex is falling apart, or like, skill-based matchmaking in COD is making it impossible to play, stuff like that. Do people complain about League of Legends, or is it just like they tell the people that they play with to kill themselves? You tell me, because you play.
Do people complain about League of Legends?
But
Nick,
is it
if this
game
were a musical, I would dive into the biggest song and dance right now, being like, "Well, let me show you, boy," and we dive right into the game. Boy, do they! I'm the only League of Legends fan in the world. Everybody is like, "Man, this game fucking sucks. Yeah, I put 12,000 hours into it, but it's shit." I'm the only one who's like, "This is a good time and I like playing it."
But is it because of, because like I understand that people are like, oh, my jungler is getting killed and he's 3 kills behind and now they have a level on him and now we're screwed or something. But is it because of the people that they play with, or is it because of the game itself?
It's the game itself. Like, anytime there's an update of any amount, like, people are pissed about it. It's like Rainbow Six Siege, where it's like, oh, this is gonna break the meta, and it's like, yeah, that's like the point. They're trying to make it not boring. It's every live service game, there's a huge vocal, either minority or majority, I don't know, but there's a huge vocal group that's like, I just want this game to stay the same forever so I can get infinitely good at it. Because CSGO was the same forever, and people love it. And chess is the same forever. And, like, but if you want to keep, like, that's such an anomaly that, like, games like that can stay big. And the reason CSGO did is because there's, like, a huge gambling scene. Like, that's why people were into it.
It's the same thing with Pokemon.
Yeah, and so it's like, what?
Well, actually, no, I guess because Pokemon's always introducing new Pokemon, which kind of break the meta. And actually, Pokemon's always catching allegations. I'm just going to say the gambling. I spent $50 on Pokemon TCGP this morning.
Oh,
so I'm...
Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. Whoa. It's bad. And I did it to build a deck, and I realized the deck I built wasn't good, so it's just $50 wasted. I felt like I lost $50 in blackjack, honestly. Like, I felt like I was like, oh, I lost money.
Dude, I love you being on your TCG arc. I can't wait to get you on Magic. I spent an egregious amount on Magic the other day.
If you tell me there's a Magic mobile game, I'm in there, like swimwear, baby.
You're gonna hate what I have to tell you, because boy is there.
There is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Danny, oh God, you're funneling me down the incel pipeline. I'm gonna be like a week from now, and Dorothy's gonna try and like hold my hand. It's like, stay away from me. I'm building a white deck. You have no idea you have no idea the depths and fathoms of my mind.
But no, people definitely complain about League of Legends, to answer your question. But like, yeah, it was just good. There's like so much to talk about too. I saw people talking about Maddie's death. Do you remember Maddie?
Yeah, you mean Caitlyn's side thing?
Yeah, Caitlyn's side thing. Everyone in the comments were like, Maddie deserved it. Maddie's a bitch. Dude, Caitlyn's the biggest bitch in this show. Caitlyn deserved it.
My exact note was, that's what you get for cheating again, Caitlyn. Yeah. Jesus, 2 for 2?
Dude, when she got knocked out, in my reaction, Caitlyn gets knocked out, and I was like, who the hell could that be? Who else has a mask and a gun? And I was like, watch it be Maddie, and then Caitlyn wakes up, and she's fucking Vi's corpse. And then she woke up, and it was Maddie, and I was like, where's Vi?
Like, I literally saw that moment, and I was like, a fair and justified response from Maddie. I was like, I like the idea that Maddie wasn't even evil originally. She was just like on guard duty in the cells and just saw Caitlyn just doing 45 minutes of Kuma's like fucking cunnilingus down on Vi, and she's like, you know what, M-Pesa, let's run it.
Yeah, I know. Caitlyn's so annoying, and then they'll give her like a really cool fight scene, and I'll be like, oh, I'm back on board because I'm a boy. But like, but God, what a bitch! And then
what an unfortunate thing in media that every single time somebody has an eye patch, it looks sick as hell. But then I'm like, I feel like I've never seen somebody pull off an eye patch in real life.
No, I feel that too. Every now and then I fantasize about like stopping a school shooting or something like that, and like I'll be like, I gotta walk away.
Standard.
Yeah, standard guy shit. Dude, when everyone was like on like, oh, men think about the Roman Empire like 3 times a day, I was like, absolutely not. But I do think about stopping a school shooting like every 40 minutes.
I think about a glorious death about 4 to 6 times a day. Yeah.
But I'm always like, dude, I should leave with battle damage. And I'm like, can I pull off an eye patch? Like, definitely not.
No. No, unfortunately not. I feel like eye patch got to be like big. You know, it's like if you're like Jensen Ackles or like Alan Richson, like they could pull off an eye patch. You got to be like a big dude.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, eye patch on a small guy makes you look like you're like, I don't know, a sufferer, like the last leper.
Yeah, you look like fucking.
They took my eyes, Pooh.
You look like Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump. Like,
you know what you need? You know what you need, Dan? You know what, for battle damage, you just need a big old scar straight down the eye. That's it.
That'd be
Standard.
awesome. I don't know how people get that without losing the eye.
Well, it's a slash because you know there's the eye bone here.
I guess so. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd rock that. And that only gets better with age too.
Exactly. So no, can I get to my final questions here on Arcane, and then we can do a rating, and then that'll be the end of it.
Yeah.
I said, well, first off, I said shout out to Tom Holland for saving the world. That random guy, the random twink who was playing piano, and then he joined the army, and then he like saved the world. But then it was revealed that Victor wasn't in the giant egg sack. So my final questions are: who are the Black Roses? Is Powder going to make rune tech? Why did Victor get like this? And then my last note is, oh my God, Kiss. Look, okay, my thing is, I don't necessarily understand Victor's character arc. Like, Victor is just kind of like a guy. I get that he's got like a bum leg and a disease, and he's like upset about that. How does he get to like, we need to assimilate all of humanity into a hive mind? How does that happen?
The idea is that he's like a perfectionist. It is a little like, there's some characters where there's like conflict between what they have to be in the game and what they want to be in the show. And Victor's one of them, where it's like, the idea is that he's like a perfectionist and he's full of, can you hear? Okay, you just came back.
Yeah.
He's a perfectionist and he's got the bum leg and then that gets healed and he's like, right? Doesn't it? I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think it gets healed, but like the idea is that like Jace and Victor wanted to use Hex Tech to stop, like injustices and crime and this and that. And Victor is like so sick of his own imperfections and his own limitations. And then he becomes a literal god. And then he's like, dude, what if everyone was just me? That would solve everything. And so that kind of becomes his motivation. I feel like Victor and Singed are both at odds with like, in the game, they're this and that. But then when you put it in like a story, it's like, you made a giant wolf monster to save your daughter? Like, would she also have to be a wolf monster, you fucking weirdo? Like...
Also, they never talk about what happened with Singed. They never talk if he saved his daughter. Like, Singed pulled off what he was trying to do, right? He combines Hector's, like, hex tech energy with, like, the giant... What's the werewolf's name?
Warwick,
with Warwick's blood, and he was like, oh, with this I can effectively like cure death, like the idea of death. And then we just never hear from Singed again after he essentially initiates the apocalypse.
Yeah. So yeah, there's just things like that where it's like the motivations of like what, like they need to be similar enough to the game. But then it gets weird when you put that in like a story with all this other gritty stuff. In terms of the Black Rose thing, I also agree that I was like, that was the weakest thing. Like, it was too much, too late.
Yeah.
And wasn't really explained. But it's in a way that I wasn't like, oh, this is necessarily a flaw. It was like a good enough tease where I'm like, I'd be interested to see that explored again in like a future show. It's not like, it's not like where I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. They just included this to set up a spin-off show, and now it feels like a Deus Ex Machina. But yeah, I think I agree with like everything you were saying. What is your rating?
Rating is probably, man, after these last 3 episodes definitely changed. Because I think we gave the last 3 episodes, like we were both in like the high 7s. I'm gonna say these 3 episodes as a whole, 9.3, 9.4-ish. Arcane as a whole, so like separate from those 3 episodes, man, like 8, 9. I'm gonna say 9. Like a flat 9. Like it's a very, very good show. I wish I had a couple of my questions answered. But outside of that, the animation is groundbreaking. It's gorgeous. The soundtrack, while a little bit poppy at times, was still bold for like its time. I do love
It's
that,
time being now.
Yeah, it's time being. Well, no, I guess like 12 years ago when season 1 came out. And yeah, no, I mean, it's cool. The character design is really dope. I like that there was a lot of League of Legends characters integrated and like hearing their backstories, even though I don't play League of Legends. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I don't really have any gripes with it. Like I have no, like nothing about the show makes me like viscerally upset. I just wouldn't say it's the perfect show. So I think 9 is fair.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9 too, like, especially because of these last 3 episodes. Like, I was really concerned that this was gonna be, like, a 7 out of 10 season and then, like, bring down the whole series. But, like, I was really pleasantly surprised with how good, like, usually in these arcs, I feel like it's, like, episode 1 of the arc or episode 3 of the arc is really, really good. And then the rest are just kind of mid. Like, there's always one really good episode, and the others are just, like, also there. Mm-hmm. Episode 8 was the weakest of these 3, but I think all 3 of these episodes, like, gave me something hype. So, yeah, I'd rather a show have a great ending than a great beginning and, like, a bad ending. And so, like, this had a great beginning. It, like, dips a bit in the middle, but knowing that it's heading somewhere fantastic elevates the whole thing for me.
Do you feel as though the show's ending a season, like, early as opposed to a season late?
I was afraid of that, but no, I think, like, I do feel like this is enough, especially because I was getting Jinx and Vi fatigue, and the war with Noxus. Like, I was afraid, I was like, dude, the Noxus shit is so cool, and I want it to expand into this, like, Game of Thrones-ass, like, global political war, and I was afraid that it was just gonna get wrapped up and I'd be underwhelmed. But again, I'm like, oh, I'm full. My tummy is full of content, and I'll be excited for more, but I'm not like, where's desserts?
Yeah. No, I feel the same way, and I think one of the seasons that we're going to be getting after this is going to revolve around Noxus, so we're going to be getting, like, a grander political scheming thing, which is going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if it's going to be in the same timeline, like, I don't know if it's going to revolve around Mel, necessarily, because, like, Mel's now the lion, apparently, like, she's in charge of Noxus. But yeah, no, really, really good. I thought Arcane was awesome. I am very upset that it's now no longer going to be around.
So what do you want to see in the future? Because I personally would be really disappointed if the next project we see, like the immediate next, is not in this timeline. Like, even if it's, like, a different country, like, there's a country called Demacia, that's, like, the other, like, kind of big first world country. Even if it's there and they never mention or go to Piltover, as long as it's in the same canon, I'll be happy. But if they're like, the next show is, like, good Piltover universe, I'm like, why are we wasting my time here? Like,
yeah, I don't know. That would be the least excited I would be about it if it was like, good Piltover universe, and I was like, oh, cool, all the same characters, just slightly different. No, I don't need that. I think you said it really well. Like, I don't have Vi and Jinx fatigue. And you know, I'd love to see Happy Piltover for one episode, and I'd be like, oh, look, you know, Jinx is still around, you know, and like, oh, let's see if she makes Hextech or something like that. But I certainly wouldn't need a season, 2 seasons of that. I want new characters. I want to see what they do. I want man on man this time. All right. Listen, the women have had their, I'll say it. The women have had their moment. All right. I want boys kissing next time. And then by the time we get to the 3rd season, the 3rd iteration, then we can do hetero couples, but not until I get boys kissing the season. All right. Yeah. We need to encapsulate everybody. And then 4th season, bestiality, B-stars. I know we already did Warwick. I don't know if there's any other animal ones.
I'll be honest. There's a high chance you get that bestiality one. There are enough characters that could fit in that.
Oh, really? Listen, we get that fox. We get the painting fox girl. She's just getting ravaged by Warwick. We get into Omega stuff. Warwick gets pregnant because he's an Omega. I think that's how that works. And we're just doing hard werewolf on werewolf action.
I was just gonna say they just released a bunny girl. I think that's who you mean by the painting fox one. Yeah, it's just a girl with, like, thighs for months and big bunny ears, and, like, that, she's getting piped by Volibear for sure.
Poly bear. What is a poly bear?
Volley bear. It's a volleyball pun that they had to fucking... Well, League of Legends is funny because a lot of these characters, like Heimerdinger and like Volley Bear, came out when League of Legends was like a silly, goofy game with no lore.
Danny, I'm gonna have to cut you off here.
What?
Why is the bear hot?
They're all hot, Nick! Victor didn't used to be hot until Arcane.
Jesus Christ, Danny. Why is the bear hot?
They're all hot, Nick. All of them. He has pecs. Look at his pecs.
He's got, oh my God, he's got a V. He's got a V. Like, what bear has a V? He's got a V. Like, he's a six-pack.
Yeah, he's got cum gutters.
This bear couldn't hibernate for fucking shit.
Dude, yeah, this is the only polar bear that's cutting for winter. But dude, I don't even know where I was going. Oh, but League of Legends started as a silly, goofy game with no lore and a bunch of characters with silly, dumb names like Heimerdinger and Volley Bear. And then now that it's serious, they've had to begrudgingly keep these names and make them, like, grim and intimidating.
Yeah, Volley Bear's got like a sad volleyball and bear related backstory. He was like, I was the #1 volleyball player in all of Russia, and then my parents died in a bear related accident.
And now I'm a bear.
And now I'm a bear. The only way I could kill the bear was to become the bear.
Should we talk about Dandadan? So we both gave it a 9.
We should talk about Dandadan. Let's do the Dandadan thing here. So we're talking about episode 8 of Dandadan. So the intro to I guess what's essentially going to be like the Mantis Shrimp Nessie arc. Not really. It's not really an arc. It's just a couple of episodes here. And we're just right back to Dandadan nonsense. This is kind of the dichotomy of Dandadan. You're like, oh, that was the most heart-wrenching, like absolutely like pull my heart out of my throat episode, like masterpiece I've ever seen in my entire life. And then the next episode is like, oh, Nessie is swimming around in the school. And by the way, Okarun's clothes have been melted off by the Serpians.
Yeah. You summed it up. Can I give some notes?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wrote, in my reaction, I had a bit where I was like, I don't know why, but I can feel it in my bones. This Mantis Shrimp is behind this somehow. And then I was fucking right.
Yep. Yeah.
That was crazy. This was a cool episode. This was a really, really good episode. There was one scene specifically where I was like, oh, I'm getting a little spookied. I got a little spookied. Can you guess when I got spookied?
Was it the Shin Godzilla reference?
Yeah. It was like, it wasn't the reference itself. The reference was very cool. The sound design carried that whole scene where it's like she moves in the water and it shows the ripple go to the thing and it's making these weird like clicking sounds as the thing's like awakening, and it was just like, I was like, get me out of this fucking school, man.
Get me out of this school. Yeah. It was also really cool that like as it's getting closer, the ripples are getting faster.
Yeah, it was awesome. Can I real quick derail for a second? Because the reason I was distracted, there's a few comments that are really funny in the chat.
Okay, go ahead.
And Panda Mom is trying to combat them. There's one. So,
I love that Panda Mom, our mod, is trying to combat them, and you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna shout them out real quick. I'm gonna shout out the thing that our mod's actively trying to suppress.
It's just such funny content. Caged Boy, who I'm now, I guess, encouraging to be mean, so I shouldn't be doing this. But Caged Boy goes, can you just talk about Naruto? We don't care about League of Legends. After our hour-long tirade. And then Ignacio goes, look back. I thought they said watch Blue Lock, please. And I was like, you must be new here.
First episode, please.
But, the Godzilla bit really kind of blew me away. Like, solely for the sound design. Like, again, that was one of those things where I was like, it felt like leaving a horror movie and you're like walking to your car in the dark and you're like, hey, I'm not scared or anything, but I am going to sprint to my car. Is that cool with everybody?
It's turning the lights off at the bottom of the stairs and then sprinting up them.
Yeah. That's exactly,
like, oh, the dark won't touch me. I'll outrun it.
Yeah.
It was really, really fun. The Serpians coming back is going to be fun. I am going to tell you right now, there's, like I said, we're going to have to take a hard stance in these next couple of episodes. If you thought episode 1 was bad, well, like I said, Dan, we gotta be pro Dandadan. We just gotta clench our teeth and just keep our heads down. Don't listen to the hurled throws or like axes and stones are gonna throw at us here. We just gotta keep our head down and we gotta be all right with it. All right.
What are you No, I can't agree to that. What are you talking about?
Danny, we gotta make a pact right now, all right? And no quit, no surrender, sweep the leg, baby.
I love the idea. We should make a game out of this somehow. Whenever we're ready to tank our careers, we should like spin a wheel, like have Stank or somebody compile a list of like 25 like okay borderline PC anime and 25 like get you canceled type anime. We don't know any of them. We spin a wheel and then we like roll a die and whatever it lands on we watch, and like or flip a coin, I guess. Flip a coin, heads, we have to agree with whatever themes and stances the anime makes, and tails, we can have our own opinion.
I think Rudy should listen. She was asleep in a barn, all right? Rudy had every right to go up her panties. Come on.
So I love the idea of going to a show and you're like, whatever happens next, Dan, you gotta publicly be on the side of.
I need you with me on this.
Oh no.
So yeah, no, it's gonna be a tough this Thursday, which is it's Tuesday there?
Yeah.
This Thursday is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a very interesting day for everybody all involved. It's gonna be great for you to react to. It's gonna be a good old time.
I'm so not excited. Here's the thing, I'm so annoyed at the Dandadan crowd, you included, because none of you know what the fuck you're talking about. I have had so many people in my comments, you included, be like, oh, don't worry, it chills out after these couple of episodes.
It doesn't. When I started rereading the manga, I was like, oh, I lied to Danny. I was like, I lied to Danny straight up.
Every, like, 2 episodes. And I wonder if the comments are coming from people who saw you say that to me. Like, I wonder if they're your viewers. Because every 2 episodes, people are like, don't worry, now it gets normal. And it never does. Truly never. No. It's always weird. It's always pervy. And then a lot of people be like, it's not pervy. It's just showing sexual themes. Okay, why are we getting a billion crotch shots from ISA and, like, nothing from Okaroon? Because people are like, oh, well, they're both going through it. And it's like, no, Okaroon's in, like, tastefully censored frames. And she's like, I'm like, POV, you're her snatch.
It is the manga's literally upskirt the manga. Like, it is just panty shot after panty shot. And you're like, it's so tough because it's the first anime and manga I've ever really had to take this stance for. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's worth it. Like, unfortunately, when it boils down to it, Dandadan is like a really good manga, but like, you're like, oh man, do I wish we weren't on Hisoka timing all the time with all these upskirt shots on all these like very 16 to 17-year-old girls.
God, you're gonna get it from the Mushoku Tensei crowd. Because
listen, the second that Okaroon assaults his cousin, who's also asleep and a minor, trust me, I'm out.
I love you being like, listen, you're just gonna have to look the other way on some things coming up.
You just need to bear down and buckle up. I got an email the other day. I did a ReZero video. And this YouTuber who only does like ReZero content, or mostly ReZero content, but also some My Hero Academia content.
Only ReZero content? What the hell? What a shallow well to pull from.
Yeah. Well, there's actually, believe it or not, pretty deep well. Pretty deep. There's like many light novels. The manga's still going, or the manga's done, but there's many light novels. It's crazy. He emailed me and he was like, hey, saw that you did a ReZero video, liked it a lot. If you ever want to work together, let me know. By the way, heard about your Mushoku Tensei opinions, incredibly based. And when I hear heard about your Mushoku Tensei opinions, I'm like, oh God, like prep for the arsenic. Like, I'm like, by the way, heard about your Mushoku Tensei, here's your IP address. Yeah. And like, that's usually what I got, but he was like, incredibly based, by the way. And I was like, is that like, if you type in Nicholas Connor, is it like hates Mushoku Tensei? Is that what pops up? Because it was like, he like led with this. And I was like, is that what I'm known for?
That's so funny. That's funny, especially considering that if you look up Danny Motta, Nicholas Connor shows up. Remember that?
Wait, what? No.
Remember that when I showed you, I Googled myself and you popped up?
Oh, those like related searches. Yeah.
No, it was like, hold on, let me see. Danny Motta.
No, when I type in Danny Motta right now, it's you in your anxiety sweater, and then there's a TikTok of you wearing your fucking hoodie scarf watching Owl House.
When I look up Danny Motta, the first image is me in my anxiety sweater, then me thirst trapping in my Ditto sweater, and then your TikTok about me that says Danny Motta has died.
Is that it's the TikTok? Okay, how far into searching Danny Motta? Yeah. So for me, it's the second row. Yeah. You know what we need to do, Dan? When I type in Danny Motta, unfortunately, your LinkedIn photo pops up, and wow, is that not a good photo?
What is your problem? That is a great photo.
Danny, you look like Josh Block if he, like, went to a correctional school in this LinkedIn photo.
This is just what I look like. This is just me.
Danny, that is not what you look like. Danny, listen, I don't want to blow steam up your ass here, but you've had a bit of a glow up.
Since my
Money's
LinkedIn
made you
days.
handsome. Yeah, since your LinkedIn days. Money has made you handsome.
Money has made me wet and nothing else.
Yeah. Well, apparently wet is hot. What's in, baby?
I guess so. Wet is the new dry.
Okay, can I do my best boy?
So, you're done with... Wait, hold on. And then we'll wrap up, because I know you gotta go. But
okay.
This episode of Dandadan ends with Ira transforming.
Oh my God, I forgot. Oh my God, I can't believe we almost blew past fucking Acro or Ira Silky.
That's crazy, because I didn't know anyone else would be transforming, and now Ira skyrocketed to the top of my preferred love interest list. I want her to get with him because they both have transformations, and it seems like they're meant for each other.
You want a teethy ass relationship.
I want a toothy ass slam sesh.
They can just mash their teeth together.
Yeah.
I got some news for you. One, if you love transformations, you're going to love this story. Two, this is not the end of the love interest train for Okarun.
Oh my goodness.
Or for Ayase, actually. There's a web. By the time you get to where I'm in the manga, it is a web of love interests. You can ship in so many directions. It is insane.
That's so weird that it becomes like a train of love interests, especially considering Ayase is the biggest bitch I've ever seen in media, and Okarun is hated by the entire student body.
Everyone fucking treats Okarun like the wall of a wall ball court. Like he is fucking nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just excited.
By the time you get to the manga, I think there's something like Okarun has like 4 possible love interests and Ayase has 2.
Crazy. That's so
you can go in any direction you want to. But how do you feel about her transformation? Do you like it?
I like it so far. It's funny that they have the same personality. Kinda. At least so far. They both get like a deeper, chill voice.
I guess. Yeah, maybe that's just something about like being taken over by yokai.
Yeah, but I like it so far. I'll be interested to see if it's like just the same thing, because aesthetically it's very similar. I'll be a little bummed if it's like she's also just fast, because he is just fast, and sometimes he's like the fucking Mask. Actually, he just does cartoon ass shit.
That's fair.
And
not to spoil anything, but remember the yokai she got her powers from.
Oh, so she'll have hair shit and stuff. And yeah, because Turbo Granny's fast. But like sometimes he's a helicopter, which seems irrelevant to speed.
I get, well, if your legs are really fast, you can spin them really fast.
You can't spin your legs at any speed. Regardless, legs don't
if
spin.
I'm spinning my legs right now.
What are
How
you
dare you? I
talking
would
about?
show you, but I'm not wearing socks.
So yeah,
Do a
maybe
Dan Snyder bit right here as I try and do circles with my feet for the camera.
maybe she'll have hair powers. That'd be good. Because yeah, Okaru's transformation is very cool. I need him to level it up soon. Not like get it more powers, but like I need it to do something useful the next time he turns into it, rather than just like, you know, run down a street and then complain about it.
You're gonna love the way the powers scale in this manga because it's exactly how you want.
I'm hyped. I'm so excited.
Like people have to get creative with their powers, and you're gonna love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's right up your alley. All right,
Best boy?
now let's do our best boy.
Okay, who's yours?
Remember how I said my best boy this week is Chinese healthcare? Remember how I said I punctured my eardrum?
Yeah.
Ooh. Can I show you something? I'd have to run upstairs.
That's on you, dog.
Okay, entertain the chat.
I'll do my best.
All right, I'm back.
Go on.
Danny, I want to preface this by saying, and this is for everybody in chat. What I'm about to show you is not good. If you're not into like, let's say if you're into pimple popping videos, this will appease you. And if you find that gross, I would not recommend it.
I'm so not excited.
So remember when I said I perforated my eardrum with a Q-tip?
Yeah. Trigger warning.
So I didn't actually do that.
Trigger warning to everybody for this inevitably disgusting thing Nick is about to show me.
So apparently I didn't do that. What instead actually happened was I had all the earwax in the world in there.
Okay.
So if you see, if
I
you go all the way from...
I love this bill entirely in Chinese.
Yeah. Anyways, so as you can see, this is the before. The center photo is the before.
Yeah.
And this is the after. So
Okay.
I didn't perforate my eardrum. What I did is I had so much earwax in my ear that I thought I perforated my eardrum because I had so much earwax in my ear I couldn't hear.
Uh-huh.
It was just a flat layer of earwax. So we went to a Chinese hospital because I was like, oh man, I have this perforated eardrum. I need to go to an ENT. I need to get like taken care of. And so we went to the doctor, and guess how much it costs to see a doctor here?
I'm shocked he just went to a doctor. Going to a doctor here is a fucking ordeal and a half.
Okay, you can apparently, in China, you just walk into the hospital. You just walk into the hospital, and then there's wings. There's like the gynecology wing, and the ENT wing, and the head and neck surgery wing. And you go in, and then there's like kind of a menu. And it's like, hey, do you want a new doctor, a kind of old doctor, or the best doctor that we have? And they come at different prices. You choose the level of doctor you want. And so so the lowest level of doctor is 15 yuan. The middle level of doctor, 15 yuan, which I thought was weird. I was like, okay, why would I ever go for the lowest level of doctor? Highest level doctor, 30 yuan. How much do you think a yuan is?
I don't know. The fact that it's just 10 is kind of blowing me away. 30? I don't know.
There's 6 yuan to every $1. So seeing the highest level doctor, 30 yuan, costs $5. $5, Dan. So you go to the highest level doctor, and he's like, he pokes a thing into your ear, and he's like, oh, there's too much earwax in here. We got to get this clean. So you go have a medical procedure where a professionally trained medical professional cleans out your ears with a little vacuum and a scoop, a little scooper, takes all the earwax out. That costs 200 yuan, which is a grand total of about $33.
Wow.
And then you go back to the doctor and he goes, oh yeah, you don't have a perforated eardrum. You just had too much wax. And then you leave and the entire thing costs you $38.
Wow. Honestly, when you describe it like that, the idea that you would spend more than like $30 on a guy just scooping earwax is ridiculous. But
at a hospital in the States, it'd be hundreds.
It'd be hundreds. It'd absolutely be hundreds. I had my sinus thing, like a year ago or so, like in March. And
when they expanded your boogers?
When they debugged me. And that, they just sent me a bill for it that I called insurance, and it was a mistake. I wasn't supposed to get this. But it would have been $13,000.
All they did was put balloons in your nose.
All they did was put balloons in my... It took genuinely 45 seconds, and then they gave me Vicodin. That's all. That's all that happened.
$13,000?
I was like, I looked at it, and I was like, I like put myself in the shoes of all my roommates, and I was like, I'm ruined. I'm ruined because I wanted less boogers. like this has ruined me.
Holy shit! All right, who's your best boy?
My best boy is Arcane. Obviously,
Nice.
but I'll sacrifice the time I would spend talking about my best boy to ask you, how did the scoop feel?
Oh, it was pretty dope.
What do you mean? I've had that done my whole life, because when I was a kid, I used to I was an absolute earwax factory, and it's so
You were
painful.
just making candles.
Dude, it is so painful when they scoop you.
I kind of liked the feeling. When I was a kid, I would look forward to when they would do the little like scope thing into your ear. I like it when people do things with my ears. I don't know why. It just feels good.
We live different lives.
Don't know what to tell you.
We live differently embarrassing lives.
Absolutely. All right, that brings us to the favorite part of our podcast, the love letters. There's 686 of you watching right now, and for those of you who are members, you're probably wondering, guys, why isn't this live broadcasting of Otakus Anonymous behind the paywall that it usually is? And the answer to that question is, once again, I'm in China, and we're using Riverside, and I can't set up a members-only stream, so we figured you guys would probably just want to stream as opposed to nothing. So this is the point in our broadcast where we usually ask our live audience, which is usually between 50 and 80 members, to ask us a question that we answer here live on the podcast. But now that there's almost 700 of you, I'm sure we're going to get a lot of questions. So go ahead and shoot us a question right now, and we can answer it for you. If there's any of the questions that we like, we'll answer it here, and that'll be our love letter. Next week, we'll be back to our standard membership program here over on Patreon. But for this week, free live. And if you guys like what you see, and you guys are like, oh, I love getting the podcast 2 days early, you get this if you're a member of our Patreon. And you get the pod 2 days early. You get to ask us questions. You get to hang out. Danny reads your chats. It's a whole thing. Anarchy Hamster asks, what Pokemon would each member of the Scooby-Doo gang have? Do you have any answers here, Dan? It's so hard to say that, like Shaggy wouldn't just have one of the dogs, like Houndoom.
I know, no ghost types, because they're spooky.
Oh, but Houndoom's dark type. So I feel like Houndoom would be a good one for Shaggy. But then again, I feel like Scooby's not he's not giving Houndoom.
Does Scooby get one?
Does Scooby get one?
I feel like Scooby's their Pokemon.
Scooby's
already.
Absolutely their Pokemon.
He fucking talks.
Actually, he's better than a Pokemon. Yeah. He can talk.
So Scooby's Shaggy's. Shaggy already gets one. I feel like Fred's got like a Hitmonchan or like Machoke, you know.
I was gonna say like Metalurk or something, like a Reggie. Like he's got like one of the Reggies. Like Fred would definitely be on like Victory Road. I feel like he'd be like on Victory Road, or he'd be a fighting type gym boss. Absolutely, Machamp is a great one. What about Velma? Velma's an interesting one here. I feel like Velma, ironically, would be a ghost type, like Chandelure.
Oh, that's not bad. That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm feeling that. Like some like lesbian icon ass type of like.
Oh, what were the
There's one in a big dress,
no.
like a big Victorian goth Lolita dress. I feel like that's a Velma one.
That, or she'd be like a grass type. She'd have like a Lilligant or something like that. Like
or Gardevoir.
Or Gardevoir would be good. Daphne would be like man, Daphne's tough. Daphne would need like I don't want to say horse. Horse feels too raw. Like I don't want to say like would Daphne be a water type gym boss?
Daphne's in every movie we've watched, the one consistent through line with Daphne is that she knows jujitsu. They don't give her a personality, but they give her a disarm move. So maybe she's the fighting type.
That'd be pretty good too. But I feel like she would end up being like, no. I feel like Daphne, ironically, out of all the Scooby-Doo gang members, is probably the closest to like Team Rocket.
You think she's nefarious?
Like if any of the members of the mystery gang were nefarious, it would probably be Daphne.
Yeah, I feel that. She's probably I don't.
So like maybe like Persian.
I was also thinking Persian, because it's like a rich person's cat. Or a rich person's Pokemon.
It's exactly a rich person's cat,
yeah.
Right?
Maybe it is Persian. I like that. Or the other cat, the Purugly, which is just like a thick fucking weird ass cat.
You know what? And if Shaggy didn't have Scooby, he'd have like a scun tank. Because it would cover the smell of his weed.
It would not cover it. It would just mimic it.
Yeah, but he could always blame it on the scun tank, right?
I feel like he'd have like, do you know slacking or like slack off, whatever? Just a giant sloth fucker, and they're just chowing down.
That's a great answer, dude. Yeah, slacking or a sloth king would be awesome for him.
Yeah.
Or he could have like a slow bro. He could have a slow bro as well.
Oh, he would. Yeah, I love a slow bro for Shaggy. It's just like on his head the whole time.
This is a great question.
He's just like,
yep.
Like, I don't know, he kind of just hangs out.
I think he's sucking my brains out. But all right, I got to go to a jewelry factory, so I got to run here. But thank you guys for hanging out this week. We appreciate. We'll be back in studio next week, hopefully. I don't necessarily have a return date quite yet, but we appreciate you guys popping in and hanging out with us. We've been Otakus Anonymous, and if you guys like the live, go ahead and join our Patreon. You get this experience every single week, and on top of that, you get 2 hours of additional Nick and Danny content every single month. We're reacting to Scooby-Doo movies right now to stay on topic. So I've been NCMer23, also known as the Weeb Commander. Daniel.
I am Danny Motta, otherwise known as the other guy on this podcast for the past year or so. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.
All right, bye guys. Mwah.